I'm not gonna fake anything. I'm going to be honest with him, and I'm going to be upfront, and I'm going to show him what my intentions were. Every household is different, diba? And to me, I'm under your household, so I'm not gonna say what I want to truly say, but I'll just accept that this is you guys. This is how you guys are in terms of conflict or when you fight. It's humbling. I know it may be hard, especially Ella's your eldest. You wanted to entrust your daughter to a person who's not a maniac or a psychopath.
Welcome to Marriage is a Marathon, the podcast. Ako po si Anthony Pangilinan.
And I'm Maricel, Laxa-Pangilinan. We are on Season 2.
And today, ang pag-uusapan po natin ay...
Tungkol sa mga in-laws and outlaws.
So, our guest is actually our son-in-law, Enrique Miranda. Pag-uusapan po natin ang sekreto ni Ella. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Marriage is a Marathon, the podcast.
Enrique Miranda.
Yay!
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
I've actually been also waiting for you guys to invite me.
Aba.
So,
Mama, ang iba ninenervyos.
Yeah,
Diba?
exactly.
Ito walang nervyos.
No, wala.
Ang tapang, di ba?
I was given a time limit, so I might exceed it pa nga.
Wait. What was your mindset ba? Kasi obviously nakikita nyo guys, iba yung mindset ni Enrique. But getting into this family, joining this family.
It's not a family, it's a barangay.
Yes. What was your mindset getting into the Pangilinan clan?
That's actually a good question. I've known who you guys were, obviously because of you're in the industry, and at one point you were in politics, and I would see you. Actually, I used to watch your show on CNN, and it was really nice. You'd interview business leaders. But anyways, going back to your question, I think the mindset was really in within your barangay as a family. I found it very interesting how all of you, even though you're so big, you're all so close. And I think that close-knitness really also excited me to want to get to know all of you.
Didn't scare you, huh?
It didn't scare me because in my family, I come from a very big family, but we're very clingy towards each other. We always want to be around. So I kind of like that. I like that. And when I first met the entire family, to be honest, I'm not being cocky or anything. I was actually really excited because I wanted to see how a group of people that I've never met in my entire life, completely different values and background and industry, because all of you guys are entertainment, you have politics, so it's really like a whole boodle or like a halo-halo of different people. And I think that's what really excited me. At that time, also, Ella was really nervous. She was the one nervous pa nga, right? So yeah.
Well, actually, nagulat din ako kay Enrique.
Dahil?
Kasi yung sinasabi niya na he met the entire family. Kasi nga, that was during the campaign. One of the campaign sorties of Kiko.
Yeah.
And challenge niya si Gary na sumayaw. Si Kuya Gary. Tsaka si John. John happens to be the person na pinaka-outgoing sa buong magkakapatid.
That was... Yeah, that was a moment na I began to doubt.
No.
Iba ito, iba ang tapang nito.
Oo, ang galing.
Diba?
And for the first time na nakilala mo si Anthony, you wore a floral shirt. Na normally, syempre kung makikilala mo yung tatay ng liligawan
Bigyan mo ng background yung mga kausap natin na it wasn't just what he wore. Siya pa nga ang humingi ng meeting na yun.
Oo.
Diba?
Why did you ask to meet Anthony?
Yeah. If you look back now, I'm sure the both of you as parents also knew that you wanted to see what my intentions were with your daughter. And I wanted to, for me, it was really like, Ella made it clear that I need to go through her parents first. So I didn't.
So that was Ella's.
That was parang like non-negotiable.
Okay,
so for me, it was really like, okay, this is what it would take for me to get to know you on a deeper emotional and relationship level. Then by all means, I'll meet your dad.
Oo.
I'll sit down with him, and I'm a as you know, I love to be surrounded by people, older people. That's where parang like I come to life when I'm around older people. And when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I want to meet him, to show him who I really am. I'm not gonna fake anything. Diba? I'm going to be who I'm really. I'm not gonna fake anything, or I'm going to be honest with him, and I'm going to be upfront, and I'm going to show him what my intentions were, even if it meant by the way I would dress. I was dressed at that time. I was wearing a Hawaiian shirt. I was in shorts and Birkenstocks. I was comfortable, and I wanted to know that. I wanted, Dad to see that, wow, this guy is really, either there's a lot of loose screws with him, or this is really his personality.
Was that to date or to court?
To date.
To date. So I asked,
I remember. Not to marry pa.
Not to marry, no.
Grabe
That was
naman
different.
yung to
That was
marry.
different.
Di ba?
Kakakilala lang nila. Gusto niyang ligawan si Ella.
This was 2017.
So Ella, yes, now I remember. So Ella wanted whoever would court her.
Sorry, 2018.
Ask permission.
First, okay. But which was not Ella all her life, So, but this is something she learned after, years of engaging with the opposite sex. I want my dad to.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Now I remember. Now I remember how bold you were at what you wore.
Yeah.
How comfortable you are with what you ate.
To be honest, like thinking about it now, we only spoke about Ella for like 10 minutes. I was with you for maybe more than 3 hours, to the point that my phone kept ringing, and I remember you kept trying to call him and be like, "Where are you? Where are you?"
What happened?
And then
Tell
you
me.
didn't. You wouldn't even respond. Right? It was only after.
So you had a great time.
I had a great time, honestly, getting to know you, and for you also to see, and get to know me, because I'm sure you've heard about me before, like where my family's from and all that. But it was not really on the get to know Enrique on a personal level.
Well, let's go to 2 years na.
2 years of marriage.
Diba?
Yeah. Actually, almost.
So the
2 years.
two become one. The two become one. How has that been for you? How have you become one in 2 years?
Pero kailangan natin establish the fact na 6 years silang mag-boyfriend and girlfriend bago sila nag-asawa. 6 years. So we really
Almost 7,
got to know Enrique in a very personal way. Even during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, and then now they entered into their marriage. 2 years na kayo.
Yeah.
How has it been for you?
The two becoming one.
Honestly, the 2 years have been, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. It was a challenge because, it was the first time that me and Ella also lived together.
Yeah.
So there was a big adjustment there. But I already knew how Ella was over that span of time. I'd always visit your house. I'd always see how she would be around, whether it's kitchen or the living room. So I already processed in my mind that, okay, if she comes into my household, this is how she's going to be. Yeah. So it was a big adjustment, I remember the first night of our marriage, we fought about the aircon, because I like the aircon cold.
Really cold.
Like really, really cold. And she doesn't like it cold. So it was a big fight about whether, what temperature it would be. Obviously, I just gave it to her na lang. So, yeah, stuff like that. It was a big adjustment. But in terms of on a deeper level, it was, I think we would have never been able to do it if it wasn't for guidance from our parents, such as you guys, and also my grandparents, and other people just giving us tips.
Yeah.
Obviously, because of him also, right? Because if it wasn't for him, and I wouldn't really know what to do, and so would Ella. She wouldn't really know what to do.
So this is why I really appreciate both of you when it comes to asking advice. Kasi not a lot of young people are open to getting advice from other people. Kasi normally, pag bago kayo mag-asawa, kayo na lang muna mag-solve ng mga problema ninyo. But in your case, you always ask us for advice.
Actually, minsan siya nagtatanong, attend lang sa ng seminar natin.
Totoo yan.
Yeah.
How many times you attend our
Four.
Signs up for
Before,
our seminars.
before, I was like, you know what? Yeah, 4 times I attended without Ella even being there.
Yes.
I attended your seminar, and then, even if you guys would be in the glimpse, I'd still show my face. I'd be like, "Hi, Tito. hi to them, Enrique, and all that. And I'd still listen and I'd engage with other people. It was really good. It really helped me also.
So where is this coming from? Is this something na talagang innate in you that you would ask people for for advice?
I think it is how my parents raised me, my mom and my dad. They would always, and my parents admit, if they didn't know something, they'd ask.
Yes.
They'd ask because you don't want to have too much pride. And there's nothing wrong with asking. It can be a really faint question or it can be a big question. At least if you ask, you know what the answer could be. So
You know what my favorite thing is that you guys ask is there food?
Is there food?
Yes, and we always have food because we
5
always
minutes lang
want you
yung
to
kain,
come
nasa
to the
bahay.
house.
5 minutes, that's it,
I think that was also a good strategic move into
malapit
the
kayo
relation.
nakatira
Into
sa
yes.
You know what? Let's give you the chance to give them 3 tips, okay? What to do or maybe what not to do in getting acquainted with your in-laws the first years of your marriage.
Yeah.
Anong mga suggestion mo?
I
Sa
think
mga, sa mga
that's-
nanonood ngayon.
Yeah, I think that's really good. No? Like, not in a categorized order, but I think what's really important, and what was really important for me was be yourself.
Okay.
Why? Because
Pakatotoo.
by being yourself, they would see the truth about who you are. And that's one. Second would be, obviously you can't do it. You can't do everything by yourself. So don't be afraid to like ask questions, and don't be afraid to ask. And I think the third would be surround yourself with family all the time. Because yes, there may be times and there may be some people that being surrounded by family, they can get agitated because of this, too much barking in their ears. But I think of it as a blessing.
Wow.
As a blessing to have, even if you want to strangle them, but be surrounded, surround yourself with them is a great thing.
One thing also I appreciate about you is you have also been around us during times of conflict. Na talagang nag-aaway tayo. Hindi
Wow,
lang
that
tayo.
was-
Tayong lahat, meron tayong disagreement, tapos nandyan si Enrique. And nahihiya rin tayo sa kanya, pero
Ikaw, di ka nahihiya.
nahihiya ako. Pero ang gusto ko sa kanya is wala siyang judgment. Di ko na ever nakita na ginudge niya tayo or nag-iba yung patingin niya sa atin. Kumbaga, he's just remained the same. And I really appreciate that.
Thank you. I think that, there are 2 things there now. One would be every household is different. Diba? And to me, I'm under your household. So I'm not going to say what I want to truly say, but I'll just accept that this is you guys. This is how you guys are in terms of conflict or when you fight. And obviously sometimes it's not sweet, but as a person, I'm just, just swallowing my saliva and just not talking, which has happened so many
And then
times.
you never become part of the problem.
No. I try sometimes I just change topic. I just change topic just to make everybody keep quiet
Yeah.
and move on.
So, isa pang napansin ko sa'yo is, immediately, the day after kayo kinasal ni Ella, you started calling us mom and
Oh
dad.
yeah,
Saan ang galing yun?
that came from my dad.
Okay.
That came from my dad, and actually that came from my Tito Clinton.
Uh-oh.
I remember my dad and Tito Clinton told me, even if it was hard, like my dad wouldn't really call my in-laws by their like mom and dad. He would have like a pa and a ma before their name, which is also really interesting, no? But one of my Tito Clinton was like, just do it, even if it's hard, just do it, and it wasn't hard for me. It was so exciting. Like dad, mom, it was really exciting.
No, it was hard for her. It was hard for her.
And then for
She said,
your,
did
you hear that?
Did you just call her mom?
I remember, yeah. And everybody else, like Donnie, Hannah, and Bench, and Solana were all like, huh? And then,
Shift began.
shift. Even for Ella, it was, I told Ella, just do it. Just do it. Trust
Even
me.
with your mom.
Even
she
with my mom and my
immediately
dad.
called-
Ella just, mom,
Call them
dad.
mom and dad.
Yeah, just call them by what they really are. At the end of the day, they are our parents.
So, to get it over with, ayan, isang tip yan.
That's
Hindi nga
also
ako
one
sanay
tip.
dito sa topic natin
That's one
in-laws
tip.
di ba? Hindi in-laws, anak mo yan.
Anak
Yeah,
mo yan.
it's like that.
That's
Actually, with my mother-in-law, she never treated me as an in-law. She always called me her daughter.
Yeah.
Ganon talaga yun. And I always called
Oh,
you
thank you. I
my
was
son.
gonna ask you if you were gonna, say that.
I always say that. Diba? From the very
Yeah.
beginning, I told you, you are my son.
Yeah, and I really like that.
And I offered my last marathon to you.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. Yeah.
Oh, let's go to your marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, wag naman yung in-laws. Wag na kami. So, again, 2 years. Give me practical tips. Totoo ba yon that Ella really prepares baon? Or...
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, actually,
this
okay.
so
Regarding the
TikTok.
baon, and I'm sure everybody's seen it already.
You should
It was
on
really,
TikTok, guys, so.
yeah. It was really. I told her, I was like, I'm in the point in my life also that I kind of want to be healthy. I want to eat healthier food, and if you can help me, please help me. So she was like, okay, let's start packing you baon. So usually the baon is our leftovers, or sometimes she'd already cook a lot of meals and then she'd put it in containers and then put a date like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So that's just what I get. That's what I get from the fridge. There are times also, if she's not lazy, she'd put it in my lunchbox and then just put it in the ref. But I like how every single time it's always something new. So it's no, I don't really eat rice, but it's shirataki rice. So it's mushroom, and then she'd put like vegetables and she'd put like fish or meat. And then she'd add a dessert. It could be fruits like apple, banana, or the fruits I like, grapes. And then sometimes she'd even make a shake. So it's like a whole prep meal already.
Yes, that's a production.
Yeah, it's a real production, and I'm very thankful for that.
How did that lead to the TikTok thing of
Oh,
Socaron?
yeah. Honestly, that just came by because in being Bisaya, I always say karon. So like now, what's gonna happen now and all of that. No, so that Socaron thing, it just came out on my first TikTok video. Actually, to be honest, I'm a very shy person. Like I don't really like being. Yeah, I know.
Talaga.
Like I don't like videos and stuff, but I'm
Di naman
proud.
talaga.
I'm proud to say
Okay,
that
kaharap-harapan, but you're not so
that
comfortable,
my TikTok videos are one take. So
Nah.
I'm proud about that. Obviously, there's a little bit of edit here and there because I can go out of line. Sometimes I would say words that I shouldn't even say. But I think that's just Bisaya lingo for anybody of you who are Bisaya. You know that.
Pero yung para makatipid,
The makatipid. Okay, the makatipid came from her. She was like, you have to be practical. You should make a video that shows the audience or what it really means to save. Like, and because
Because you
I'm
do
a
save.
victim. I'm a victim also of that I spend on food. I grab Food Panda. I just buy, and I realized that over time it adds up in expenses. It gets more expensive. So I told Ella, Ella told me, why don't we just focus on your videos about telling the audience and showing them what it really means to save.
So
How can you
essentially,
save?
she's the one who recruited you to be a
honestly,
blogger,
she's-
TikToker, di ba?
Yeah, I wouldn't say content creator.
Nah.
Which I'm not. I think it's really more of like
You
just
are,
making
man.
practical videos that practical videos that a lot of people like, and it's funny
Bisaya kasi, I think it's the language
Yeah, I think
also.
it's also the language.
but
right?
also because you're not acting.
I'm being real.
You really are
I'm
doing
being-
exactly
I'm being real.
what you do in real life.
It's like exactly
Organic, they call it. Authentic.
There. Yeah, that's what people were saying, and I also like how when like let's just say when I go to Cebu or a Bisaya person spots me, goes up to me and tells me, I really like your video. Obviously, for me, I'm like, okay, but at the end of the day, also reading the comments, it's practical tips that it's like financial literacy or just teaching them practical tips on how to save.
Okay, let's go to practical tips.
Yeah.
Okay, can I just go straight to that?
Can he do it in Bisaya?
I don't know. It's up to him. Basta
Pwede
practical
naman. Say it in
tips
Bisaya.
for a newlywed couple. Oh, sige.
I can do it in English. Sige.
Okay,
I
sige.
think practical tips for a newlywed couple. Obviously, like if you're, are we talking about like getting married?
Anything. The fact that 2 years now into the marriage, what
I
has
think
worked?
it's
What has
really
helped you?
really putting your money into different savings, right? So like obviously a big thing for me and Ella is the tithing. A really big thing is tithing because what we put, we receive tenfold.
Amen.
Diba? Secondly, it would be having, we categorize it into like 4 different accounts. So we have one account which is big fund. So that's money where we That's money where we used to spend on traveling or other fun activities. Then we have a home account where operations, everything, home expenses, so from electricity bills to water bills, to food allowance, food salary for our staff, gasoline. The third would be a giving account. So in the giving account, it's what we give, we give back.
Yeah.
And then the fourth.
Thank you for the giving that you've
yes, of course.
Many of our advocacies.
Yes, of course. And then the fourth would be, well, aside from our personal, which is just ours, like we have an investment. So every payday I get, I put a big chunk into that investment. Not to touch, just
so
keep it there.
And this is something you both have agreed.
Yes.
Was it on day one or is it after the first year?
Because I was very upfront with. I didn't really know how to save growing up. So I'm a kid. I was young. Every allowance, I'd spend it on useless things. Things that, thinking back now, oh my God, did I really need another remote control car? I already have or did I need a remote control airplane? Those were my hobbies. And I realized, just looking back now, wow, if I just saved all of this and put it aside, I can have a lot.
So when did you decide to do this? Second year?
No, just during our first year.
First year.
Our first year, yeah.
Okay, so
it was after during our honeymoon, we were already talking about our finances and how we would do it. Because I already told Ella, in our minds at that time, what's mine is yours. So it's not my money, it's not your money, it's our money. So
when money comes, you already have a set percentage.
Oh no,
goes here.
Yes, we already memorized it.
It's for giving.
So it's
Expenses, basic expenses.
First is
tithing.
Tithing.
Okay.
It can be 5, 10. It really depends how much. Actually, for me, sometimes I just put more than what I want.
Yeah.
Okay, so tithing. Second is big fun, which is for big fun uses, traveling and all that.
Yeah.
Third is home expenses.
Yeah.
And then fourth is giving.
Iba pa yung giving sa tithing.
Tithing is really just tithing, and then giving is giving.
Okay, so you also have an emergency fund that you
Which is
set
the investment.
aside?
Which is the
the investment also.
Okay, ano pa? So budget, that's one. What else has worked for you? I know that
No, yung inorganize nila yung bahay.
actually yung bahay nito. Oh my gosh. I was telling Enrique na marami dyan, it takes years. Sometimes it never happens that they organize their home. When they start their marriage, priority lies their relationship, their bonding. Hindi ka agad yung bahay, but you guys made it a point that you will organize the home. Can you tell us a little more about that?
I think with that, I was very, very blessed that my mom and my dad were growing up. They were very much into helping me and my brother and my sister, just helping us and setting us for our future. So on the line of my mom, she helped me set up the home that I live in now with furnitures. And of course, along the way, me and Ella started adding our own personal touches. No?
But you keep it clean and organized.
I think that's really just the OC in my family. We're very, very OC.
Labahan ito, oh my God. Parang kwarto ng
it's
master bedroom yung labahan.
It's clean as you go. That's our motto. That's my motto in the household. Clean as you go. And
clay.
And I don't like dust. I don't like dirt. I don't like watermarks. So I don't like to see it because it just ruins. It messes things up.
OC nga, guys.
So it's my OC-ness, no?
Yeah.
So
And
I
you
always
help
do
together.
inspection like that. So
Yeah.
if I see it and there's dust, I get a towel and then I just wipe it.
And you don't rely on people to do it
No,
for you.
no.
Both of you
Both
do
of
it
us do it
together.
Yeah. We help each other at home with our stuff.
You trained your staff.
Yeah, I just don't do cooking. That's the only thing I don't do. I don't cook.
I've seen you cook and then you taste your own food and it's good.
Yeah, of course, because already somebody's telling me already what to do.
Wait. He's the one in charge of all the sausawan.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
that I can do well.
Yun, sausawan.
That I can do well. And I can do pasta. I can cook pasta. And maybe fry bangos because it's easy to do.
Any other habits that you have embraced early on in marriage that you really think is gonna Well, it already has impacted your life, but in the long run, it's really going to help you. Any other habits you and Maricel, you and Ella, I
Ella.
mean,
Ella.
habits
Habits.
that have really
Especially
helped
now that you're gonna be a daddy.
Yeah, I think it's being, well, one is exercise. I would say, because when I started, as you saw me before, I was fat, bigger than what I am now, and you guys are all triathletes, and here I am with a six pack, with a beer in my hand all the time, right? So.
exercise.
I had to really change that.
Same with
So that's
Ella,
what I'm trying to,
exercise,
and
diba?
same with Ella also. We push each other. Especially now, like I like swimming now.
Wow.
So that's something I do, and I jog. I try to do maybe 5 kilometers every day if I can. If not, I just do 2. Just good
Yeah,
sweat.
yeah.
And then just release all the negativity and everything from me during the day. I just let it all out.
Ano pa?
Exercise.
Church. I like the one.
Oh, yeah,
I
of
like
course.
your commitment
Church.
to church.
Yeah.
It's in Bible studies.
Yeah.
That's another thing that you.
Yeah.
And not just you pray together.
Yeah, we pray together.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's wow.
Yeah, we have our own times in the morning when we have our, we just reflect and we do our devotions. I like to do my devotions in the car while just listening to podcasts on the way to the office. Sometimes I do it in the office, or sometimes I go to church. I just sit down and just immerse myself with the holiness of the place. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ang sarap, ano? Guys, hindi naman imposible magkaroon ng son-in-law na mamahalin talaga ninyo. Basta ipagdasal natin.
Most of the time.
Talaga.
I think it was the lechon. I think it was the lechon.
Yun yung pinadala mo sa amin.
I think that's what.
Yeah. So, ang magandang intro ni Enrique sa pamilya natin was one birthday of Ella where all her cousins were.
Yeah.
And we had a budol fight.
Yeah.
Tapos biglang may dumating na lechon.
Yeah.
Shipped from Cebu.
Literally, I
Same
picked
day.
it up.
The moves.
Yeah.
Literally, I picked it up in the airport in the cargo terminal, and I went straight to your house. That's also my way of like seeing, where do these people live? Like, what area is this? I'm not gonna say where, but wow, this place is nice.
And now you live in the same
And now I
area?
live in the same area, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, how's it to be a
Future.
dad?
Soon to be dad.
Wow, oh my gosh. Sometimes I try to just brush it out because it's sometimes it gets to me. I'm nervous. I overthink things, but I realize that I think that's just part of life. You go through these things, and I'm happy that I don't get to go through this alone. And we have you guys, we have my parents who have gone through so many kids, and they're experienced.
So many kids.
They're
Guys,
experienced.
Nagpa-practice na to be a husband present during delivery.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a very good coach.
Husband coach delivery ang
Yes.
tawag dyan.
Ani.
We practice all the time, for the 5, although I was not there for 2. Tama
Yeah.
ba? I was doing a session. But
Pero wise din sila.
dahil
Hindi sila mag-aalala. Kasi kapitbahay nila tayo.
Yeah. I'm not worried about that. Yeah.
See, that's one thing If you will entrust yourselves to
Yeah.
people that you can rely on, hindi kayo mag-iisa. So,
Okay.
kung meron kang message sa mga tao na nanonood ngayon, in Bisaya,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sige.
how would you want
Okay, sige.
them to...
Mayo.
When it comes to in-laws, tama ba?
Yeah, how would you want them to appreciate this wonderful relationship and how they can move forward with their lives having in-laws that are not outlaws?
Yeah. I think ang importante ayaw mo kahadlok kay og sa inyong sarili og hadlok mo dili makita nila imuhang tinuod na kaayuhan or kanang pag ingkamot gid nimo na ako gid ni, di ba? So example para nako, ako gid si Enrique, mo gid ni, no? Tig shorts ko, tig chinilas, colorful shirt. So there. No, but in English it's really just
Be yourself.
I just be yourself.
Got
I
it.
think that's really most important.
Okay, what's your
Be
advice to us, considering that you're not just going to be the in-law forever.
Yeah.
So, for our future in-laws. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Kasi may darating
Yeah,
iba.
of course, of
What's your
course.
advice to us?
I think my advice is just really get to how you were. You really got to know me for who I am. And I think that's a very humbling thing. It's humbling. Sometimes I know it may be hard. Especially Ella's your eldest. And you guys you love her very much, and you wanted to entrust your daughter to a person who's not a maniac or a psychopath, right? Thankfully, I'm none of the above. I'm an island boy from the province. So yeah.
Thank you. Well, the
Daghang salamat,
trust is
Enrique.
given to
Thank you.
those who are trustworthy. So, maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Enrique Miranda. Woo!
Thank you.
Marriage is a marathon.
God bless you. We'll see you in our next episode. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Marriage is a Marathon, the podcast, Season 2.
Thank you so much, Mango, for our outfits for today. This episode was shot at Midnight Dream Studio.
For feedback, suggestions, questions, please comment below. And don't forget to follow us on our socials, Anthony Pangilinan and Mommy Maricel.
Run it one step at a time. See you in our next podcast, and God bless you.